Hello and welcome to Topic 5 Review. We're on page 210 in your Envision book. We've got our word list for our topic vocabulary: dividend, division, divisor, equation, partial quotients, quotient, and remainder. So 1 through 5, we're going to read a definition and choose the correct word from the box that fills in or answers is the definition for the problem. So the answer to a division problem is called we should try to do these before we say them. Yes, it is quotient. This is just as much for you to practice and be ready for tomorrow's assessment. And so try to do as many as you can before we answer them. So the number to be divided in a division problem is called the dividend. The dividend is the bigger number, and it's the number to be divided into equal groups. A way to divide that finds quotients in parts until only a remainder, if any, is left is using partial quotients. The key word there is parts. Parts. Partial quotients, we divide into parts and then we add them up. The number by which another number is divided is called that's right, divisor. And the operation that tells how many equal groups there are or how many in each group is called division. For each of these terms, give an example and a non-example of an equation. Equation has the word equa in it. That tells me I need an equal sign. It can be anything from 72 divided by 9 equals 8. That's an equation. A non-example would just be the 72 divided by 9. There's no equal sign. This is an equation. It does not have the equal sign. A remainder is when you divide and you have leftovers. So we might have 17 remainder 2, whereas a non-example would be just the 17. There are no leftovers. Use vocabulary in writing. Megan made 21 loom bracelets to share equally among her 7 friends. How many bracelets will each friend receive? Write and solve an equation. So remember equation, we're going to have an equal sign. Use at least 3 terms from the word list to describe your equation. So again, this is a division problem because we're dividing a larger number up into equal groups. So we can use easily division. We can use equation. We can use any number of these. We probably won't have a remainder. I see this divides evenly, so we definitely will not have a remainder. But we can use dividend, divisor, and you're going to go ahead and do that on your own as a practice for writing. And then we're going to move on to page 211 and do the reteaching section. Just review that. This will be your independent work after we go over the instructions. So remember set A would be the 5-1 where they're broken down into each part of the topic, 5-1, 5-2, and so forth. On the left is just a review of the instructions or how we solve these problems, and then on the right are your practice problems. There are a lot. I would say if you do a few in each group is enough. So for example, you definitely would want to do a 3-digit, a 4-digit. These all end in 0, so maybe multiple zeros. And then I'm not even picky which, maybe say do 4 in this group and then 5 in this group. And again, don't just choose the first 5 because those are the smaller ones and the easier ones. I want you to get into some of these thousands. And some of that you can do a smaller one. but you're doing this for practice so that you're ready for your test tomorrow. All right, so let's look at what we're looking at. So set A, a school district shares 2,700 chairs equally among 3 school buildings. How many chairs will each school building have? So we're dividing 2,700 into 3 buildings, or 3 equal groups. So we're finding what 2,700 or 2,700 divided by 3 equals. We know the basic fact that 27 divided by 3 goes evenly 9 times. 2,700s, we can say, divided by 3 is 900s, or 900. So 2,700 divided by 3 is 900. Each school building will have 900 chairs. You will find a basic fact in the beginning and then add your zeros. Basically, that's all we're doing. This one here, 2 goes into 2 one time. We'll go ahead and do this one together. And then we have, so it's going to be 2 goes into 2 thousandths one time, because 2 times 1 is 2, 1,000 times. We just add the zeros. All right, so then part B, use multiplication to estimate 420 divided by 8. 8 times what number is about 420? 8 times 5 is 40, so 8 times 50 is about 400. So 420 divided by 8 is about 50. Use compatible numbers to estimate. 1,519 divided by 7. What number close to 1,519 is easily divided by 7? Try division facts to help find compatible numbers for 1,519. So 1,519 is close to 1,400. Remember, compatible means something that's going to divide evenly. We're talking about 7. So yes, 14 divided by 7 is 2. So 1,400 divided by 7 is exactly 200. So our original 1,519 divided by 7 is about 200. So the key on this section is to estimate the quotient. You're not actually dividing and finding it, you're just finding an estimate. You're finding a compatible number to have, and you're not going to have remainders, you're not going to divide, you're going to, after you round. So you're going to round those to, for example, this one. I know that 36 divides by 9 evenly. So I'm just going to turn these into zeros and say 3,600 divided by 9. 36 divided by 9 is 4. Then I have 2 zeros because I rounded. So it's about, I use the squiggly, it's not exactly equal to, but it's about 400. All right, so then on section set C, Tom is putting 14 apples into bags. We're on page 212. Each bag holds 4 apples. How many bags can Tom fill? Will any apples be left over? So we have a model to represent 14 divided by 4. We have 14 apples. Divide them into 4 equal groups, or groups of 4. Would give us 3 and 2 left over. So you can fill 3 bags and then there are 2 apples left over. Set D, I do want you to do both of those because there's only 2 problems. 357 divided by 7. So remember the area model. We take our 350, which is divides by 7 evenly, and then the leftover is 7 right here. So 350 plus 7 is where we got our 357 divided by 7. So 7 times 50 is 350. 7 times 1 is 7. So 50 plus 1 is our quotient, 51. Here's partial quotients because we're dividing. Now we divide using the distributive property. We could break up 357 to 350 and 7 because they both divide evenly by 7. That's 50 times for this one. 1 time here, we add that together to get 51. So we've shown 3 different ways to divide in set D. Area model, partial quotients, and distributive property. You choose how you feel most comfortable. We spent a lot of time with partial products. Last assessment on the partial quotients was partial products, and we had a lot on the assessment for that. So, but your choice. If you can even use the place value model if you like to break up hundreds, tens, and ones. And that's what we're getting to next, hundreds, tens, and ones. We are using the place value models for set E. Margaret packed 68 books equally into 2 boxes. How many books did Margaret pack in each box? So we're dividing 68 by 2. So we have 68 books. Divide the tens into equal groups, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 68 divided by 2 is 10, 20, 30, 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 34 in each group. Set F, find 147 divided by 6. Estimate 120 divided by 6, because that's our compatible number, is 20. So it's about 20. So when we actually divide 147 divided by 6, we actually get 24 remainder 3. When we break them all apart, we're not going to go through that step by step. But our answer, 24 remainder 3, is close to 20, so we show that that's answer is reasonable. Remember what we talked about is 48, is if that's the actual answer, and 80 is the estimate. Is that reasonable? No, it's too far apart. 24 and 20 are close. Yes, that would be reasonable. So let's say you would do odds here, and then maybe odds again here for practice. And then we will do set G. We will not do set H. We did not do that section. Find 8,951 divided by 8. And you can estimate that that's compatible. 8,800 divided by 8 is 1,100. So this would be an estimate. So when we get our final answer, if this is not close to this, then we might have made a mistake. But they divide using partial quotients. First you get 1,000. 8 times 1,000 is 8,000. Subtract. 8 times 100 is 800. Subtract. 158 into 151 goes 10 times. That's 80. With 71 left over. 8 times 8 is 64. 7 left over. This is smaller than this, so it's a remainder. Remember, this has to be smaller than our divisor, or else we didn't go far enough. We have to keep dividing. We need another partial quotient. But since it is smaller, we add up all of our partial quotients to get 1,118 with a remainder of 7. So again, let's just do the odds there. And this will be good practice for your assessment. The next video will show the problems in the assessment practice, and that will be your last part of the review before your assessment tomorrow.